Oh man, it's another COFOH Live and Undead, and I am heavily caffeinated. Here we go. All right, welcome to another COFOH Live and Undead, and I am joined by the magnificent, the supremely talented Brigitte Kingsley. Holy shit! But first... Do I have something on my face? Brigitte, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you greatly appreciate it. I've been following you online for a while, and then really starting to delve into a lot of your awesome feature films. And you're an independent filmmaker out of Canada, along with your husband Andrew. Man, you guys do an amazing amount of stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, we've had a fun decade or so. That's for sure.
That's so cool. First out of the bag, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into filmmaking?
Sure. I mean, as a kid, I was the kid that always wanted to act. So I bugged my parents all the time to get an agent and, get into the industry. And my parents knew nothing about that world. So when I was 13, like once I hit high school, my mom's like, you know what, if you go out there and you get yourself an agent, I will absolutely support you. We'll drive you to your auditions, whatever you need, but you have to go out there and get it yourself. So I knew one uncle who had done some movies back in the day, and I called him up. I was like, Uncle Jim. I'm like, so how do I get an agent? And he's like, well, you write a resume, you take a picture, and what have you done? I'm like, nothing. And he's like, okay, well then you lie about a resume and make stuff up, see what happens. So I was like, okay. So I made up like this fake resume and I sent it into some agencies, and they called me up and they asked for an interview, and I'm like, Uncle Jim, what am I supposed to do? Like, they're going to ask me about these roles. And he's like, well, act as though you know what they're talking about. Because back in the day, you couldn't really check on the internet because it wasn't quite. So yeah, I went in and I talked to the agent, and they signed me. And from that point on, I kept doing commercials and all that sort of stuff through high school, which was a lot of fun. And then when it came time to go to university, I was like, what do I study? And my heart was just theater all the way. So I was one of those theater kids, and that's pretty much how it started.
Oh man, that's absolutely crazy. And then with through college, you went into theater. You also went in and was studying in psychology too. After you graduated and all, how did you feel about going and working in the film industry after all that education?
Well, I was naive about the whole thing, because in my head, I'm like, you go to high school, you go to university, and then you get your dream job, because that's just how it works. Right. And then when I started auditioning for my dream job, I was like, hey, where's my leading role in like this big show? It never came around. And I realized really quickly that if I wanted a career, especially like in Canada, and I wanted to act, I was going to have to figure out the business side. So I ended up meeting Andrew. He was a writer-director that I had done a project with. And I was like, hey man, if you write a script, I will learn how to produce. Like, just write me a part and I'll figure this thing out. And that's kind of how I felt about graduating. I learned really quickly that I just want to jump in.
Oh man, that's fantastic. So, quite a bit baptism by fire.
Yeah. I mean, when I started producing, it was literally baptism by fire. I jumped on a plane. I went to LA and I started knocking on doors. And I was like, hey guys, I have this script. Do you want to do it? And they were like, what? And I learned really the hard way, talking to people about how to develop a business plan and how does the financing work and how do you raise money? And, I was just a kid with no experience, and I was trying to make a feature film. And I remember picking the budget, and we're like, what should the budget be? And we're like, I don't know, 1.5 million. And we're like, okay, that sounds good. So I'm sure some people, when I knocked on the door, they thought I was this crazy kid, but the truth was, like, that was the start. And it took 10 years, but I ended up doing that $1.5 million project. So.
Wow. Yeah. Can you name that project? Which one was it?
Yeah. So the project that he wrote in when I approached him was Medium Raw.
Oh, right. Nice.
So then we sort of started trying to raise money for it, and we got married in 2005. And when people had given us money for the wedding, instead of using it for, I don't know, something smart, we decided to just shoot a trailer for our movie. So we spent, I remember spending like $10,000 on this like 5-minute opening clip. And then we packaged that to pitch it to investors, and we started raising some money. And then we raised enough money to shoot another chunk of the movie. So we ended up shooting, we ended up bringing out John Rhys Davies and like a whole bunch of people for 5 days. And we blew like $250,000 that we had raised. And then we still had 60 minutes of the movie to shoot. And I was like, how am I going to raise the rest of this money? Like so I spent the next couple of years trying to convince people to give us more money to finish this project. But while I was doing that, we ended up finding an executive producer and pitching Dark Rising. So we actually ended up doing a lot of the Dark Rising stuff before I ended up finishing Medium Raw. So it was a process.
Well, and like the Dark Rising, that's a property that you guys have been shooting movies and TV miniseries for like I think over 10 years, right?
Yeah, the first one we shot in 2006.
No kidding.
Yeah, it came out in 2007, and that was while we were pitching Medium Raw. We ended up knocking on the door of a Canadian production company, and we pitched the Medium Raw, and the guy's like, well, I don't know, whatever, not really interested. And then didn't hear from him for a couple months. And then he picked up the phone one day and he's like, hey, like, are you still doing that project Medium Raw? And I was like, yeah, but we're still looking for the money. He's like, hey, tell you what, why don't you come work at our office for the summer? I'll give you, everything you need. And just let me know what you're working on. Cause like, I really dug what you guys were doing, and, maybe I'll help you guys out. So I was like, okay. So I started working in his office, and then one of their projects was falling apart, and I knew that he had enough money to shoot an indie film. So I went up to Andrew and I was like, hey man, like I pitched this guy, because I walked into his office and I was like,
yeah,
do you want to do a horror film? Like, I'm shooting one in a couple of weeks. If you want to come in, this is how much money we need. You can do this one instead of the one you're working on. And he's like, bring me the script on Monday. I was like, okay. So I was like, Andrew, I'm like, you have 3 days to write a script. I pitched this guy on something, and I think he's not willing to do like the $1 million film, but he's willing to do the small film. So Andrew went to his cottage, and I had pitched a horror film. He went to his cottage, he wrote Dark Rising, which was really a horror comedy. Came back, he's like, it's kind of a comedy, but it's kind of a horror. I was like, just give it to me. So the guy grabbed it and he read it, and he's like, hey man, if you guys can put this together in 3 weeks, I'll give you the money and go ahead and shoot. So that's kind of how we got Dark Rising off the ground. And it was our first feature film. We didn't know what we were doing. We knew I wanted to be a superhero, so Andrew wrote me the superhero part. And we had no idea that it would keep going for as many years and as many projects as it did. It was just like, yeah, it just kind of hit a little bit of magic.
That is an impressive origin, because the Dark Rising, for those out there not familiar with it, it's a world building, series. It's, all these movies, TV miniseries. When I watched, I think the last one I saw was Agency of Vengeance. Okay. I saw that on Amazon Prime. Hint, hint, go out there and catch it, folks. After the interview, not now. But it was just like, yeah, there's all these, wonderful, colorful characters, that have all these, fantastic backstories. I'm like, oh man, I really jumped in the middle of something. And it really does have that feel of, something in tune of, not only like aliens, but also like Doctor Who.
Right.
And it's playful and it's kitschy and it's just so much fun.
Yeah, I think that the thing with Dark Rising is that we've never taken ourselves seriously when shooting it. It's always been so much fun, and the cast, we call it the Dark Rising family because we've all worked together for so long, and we truly all love each other. Like it's a great group of people, and we go out there every day and we have fun. Like in the first TV series that we shot, so we shot Dark Rising 1, and then we shot Agency of Vengeance, and then we shot the television series. But we shot the television series and Agency of Vengeance back to back, and we were up north and we had a limited budget. And so we started shooting like 20 pages a day on that set. Wow. So Andrew, which is the director, Landy, which is the lead guy, and myself, we rented a little cabin in the woods. So we would sleep there at night and we would shoot during the day with our cast and crew. And so we would shoot like 14, 15 hours. We would go back to our little cabin. Andrew would continue to write the TV show because we didn't have all the scripts completely done. And Landy and I would learn the 20 pages for the next day. And then we would crash and we'd get up in the morning and we'd go and shoot another bunch of pages. And it was so wild and it was so fun. And it's some of the best memories that I have because we were just crazy kids doing crazy stuff. And,
to dedicate yourself like to that, I mean, you really do have to have a love and a passion, for it.
Oh, absolutely, because there was no glamour on that set. Like, we were getting our own coffee, we were scrubbing our own toilets. Like there was nothing too glamorous back in the day. But what it was fun and it was family, and we were learning so much by doing everything on our own.
Right. Oh man. And with all these film projects too, I mean, as you mentioned before, you learn the business, you produce, what's it like to be able to, produce, do the business end behind the cameras, make sure everything's running smoothly, playing psychologist if you need to, playing mother, playing dad sometimes, and then get in front of the camera and be innovative and creative.
You know what? It's fun. Like some days it's a lot to take in, but I think I've been doing it for so many years that it's just fun. Like I remember doing Rocktapussy and we were up north, which is about a 4-hour drive from where all of our actors are. And so people drive in, and we had a fairly big cast, and it was a really great cast. Like we had people from Star Trek on here and like they were coming up and it was so exciting. And I remember the day that we had everybody on and they were on for, I think, 5 days straight. And so we would shoot during the day, and then it's a bloody movie. So it's got blood and it's got sand and it's got like explosive, like all sorts of stuff. So when people left the set, I would gather everybody's wardrobe because we obviously didn't have a wardrobe person, and everybody would go to bed after a long day's work. And I would go sit in like the Days In laundromat, and I would do everybody's laundry. And it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning and I'm sitting on the dryer, just kind of hanging out. And I was like, man, the glamorous life of producing, but it has to be done. Right. And then you wake up early the next day and everybody's like, oh, it's such a great night. And I was like, oh yeah, me too, man. Like I was a little tired, and then you're doing the schedules and you're making sure people are getting there. Like there's so much on your plate, but I think your brain just starts to compartmentalize and when the camera rolls, you're in it, as long as you're in the costume and like you're on set, I find my mind just goes into that world, and it's fun to do both. Like now when I'm just acting or if I'm just producing, I'm like, oh, I feel like there's something missing. But I'm bored.
I love this photo of you producing, while in costume.
Yeah, that's probably the most accurate picture of me on set. It's like I think I was trying to make sure lunch was getting there on time and that it was being set up while we were getting our last shot before lunch. So
yeah, no McDonald's for us. We get the veggie plates. Darn it.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh man, that's fantastic. And then here's a still from Rocktapussy that you mentioned. I think that's Tales to Astonish Rocktapussy. Is that right?
It's Astonishing Tales of Terror, Rocktapussy, and I am so excited about that project. That's the one that's coming up next, and we wanted to release it this year, and I'm not sure if we will. Again, it's because of the pandemic. We're hoping that we can have a fan experience with this movie. We want to watch it in the theaters with a live audience. So we're kind of waiting it out, but it's a good one. This still over here is from Astonishing Tales of Terror.
Man, that's awesome.
And it's a wild film. It's got, giant octopus, and it's got zombies, and all sorts of crazy stuff. A lava pit. Yeah,
that's so wild. And that's another one that you guys, self-produced and everything, right?
Yeah, that originated, like we enjoyed doing the Dark Rising series so much, and we've grown obviously so much since we've shot that. And after doing a couple other projects, Andrew's like, you know what, it would be really cool to revisit that genre and like do something for our fans, and something a little bit more mature, maybe a little bit edgier, but that still has that heart and that fun to it. And like Rocktapussy is one of those things where everybody is having a blast, and when you watch it, you can tell like we're having a good time. And it's got, it's got the crazy ride, but it also has a lot of heart. So we're excited to share it with our fans. And it was made specifically with our fans in mind, just to give them something that they're going to love.
That's fantastic. Kevin also says he wants to see it in the theater too.
Yay! Hey, Kevin.
And then Andrew sends his love.
Oh, thanks, Andrew.
So, man, that sounds great. Now, obviously, COVID's hit the world, with a massive impact. How are you, and how is Canada, kind of coping? I'd imagine territories might be a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're in lockdown. So for the past couple of weeks, or I guess last 4 weeks, we really haven't gone anywhere. We have shot during COVID. We finished Rocktapussy during COVID, and then we shot 2 other projects. During the summer, it was easier because we had holding outside, and it was easier to separate people. But we shot something in the fall that I found to be quite stressful. As an actor, I don't mind so much because I know the risks I'm taking, and if I'm going to set, I understand it. As a producer, I felt it very, very stressful because I want to keep everybody safe, and I don't want anybody going home to their parents or their grandparents, or So we did a lot of COVID tests. The protocols were super tight. We cut half our crew just to keep it small. It was nice to be back on set, but it was definitely, it's a different world because sets are family, right? So It was so strange because everybody's at lunch and everybody's got their own table and they're sitting by themselves and there's no interaction, and that family fun feel kind of goes away with COVID because you just don't interact like you used to, right? So I miss that.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like it definitely takes a lot of adjustment. So some of my sponsors, Alien Donut Films, Angela and Bill, they still have been producing films throughout COVID. But yeah, same type of thing. You essentially have like a cast and crew of like 6 people, all in masks, all taking tests if they have to, go cross state lines, quarantine for 14 days, and
Like we had an actor on the last one, and he was coming in from LA. I felt bad for him because for 14 days he was literally locked in an Airbnb, but he couldn't even go down to the lobby to pick up his food. So we had to deliver food to like his door. I'm like 14 days without ever like the first couple of days I'm sure were fun because he had a young child at home, and I'm sure he was probably like, "Whoa, quiet, this is awesome." But after 2 days, I'm like, he's probably missing his kid and his wife and just humans.
Right.
But
most definitely. So with that project, then completed during COVID too. Then do you find that you're able to invest a little bit more time, creating, writing, doing some other things?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been doing a lot of development. Andrew's been working a lot on Rocktapussy and the VFX and that sort of stuff, and I've been doing a lot of writing for. I do the Hallmark type movies as well, so I write the romances.
Cool.
So I've probably written 3 or 4 scripts during COVID, which has been helpful.
Yeah, your IMDb resume is, it's just a long list of everything from horror to sci-fi to comedy to family to drama, and there's just so much of it. It seems like, and plus playing the producer role, it seems like you're having to transition and turn around really quick to play all these different roles and all these different genres. What's it like to have to transition so fast? Do you have to get into different headspaces, obviously for different characters, but
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of fun, and it's I don't know. I don't find it hard, but it's
okay.
fun to have a variety of things to do. Like I remember the country musical that we did, Country Crush. It
Oh,
was
cool.
one of those things where I'm like, oh, what haven't we done? I'm like, we've never done a musical. I'm like, I'd love to. I know nothing about music. I'm completely tone deaf. I can't sing to
Yeah.
save my life. But I was like, how cool would it be to go to Nashville and like record an album and like do it? So
Yeah.
I think we like to just do different things because you never know which way the industry's going to go. Our heart and soul is always in sci-fi comedy because that's where we started with the Dark Rising stuff.
Yeah.
But we've really found a home in different genres as we went because it's just nice to discover new things. I think the hardest thing is probably image wise, like on Instagram and stuff, it's a little bit hard to separate the fan bases because sci-fi comedy, like my Instagram is very much focused to our Dark Rising fans, our Rocktapussy fans. But it doesn't translate so well to the more family-based, obviously, audiences in the romantic comedy. So I have a separate Instagram for that, but it's I think that's the only tricky part.
Is getting the fan base, doing the marketing, the social media marketing,
separating the marketing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't necessarily want a family friendly audience to all of a sudden, go to your Instagram and like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Where's all the nice family dog pics? Why is she in a bikini? I don't get it.
Yeah, why is she got a Thor helmet and why is there blood everywhere?
What's going on? Skeletons. This is not what I signed up for.
This is when you disagree with mom.
That's right. Oh my God. I have the best story about that. My niece and nephew, I babysit them, or I did when they were younger. They're much older now. But my sister had gone out of town once, and we have that electric chair from Night Cries. And we also have like I don't know if you can see it. We have a gigantic metallic wolf from Medium Raw that we're in our living room. And so I had sent my sister a picture of the two kids. I was like, don't worry, I'm the best babysitter in the world. And I have my nephew in the electric chair all strapped up. And I have my niece and her like, so yeah. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I caught Night Cries this morning. And I think this is the second time I watched it. And it's fantastic. It's got a wonderful bunch of layers. I mean, on its face, it seems like kind of a dystopian wasteland with a couple monsters and stuff roaming around, but it's it definitely has its messaging on coping with death, coping with transition, things like that, and. It's actually incredibly complex. But the cool thing too is I was picking out like your cast members, and it's like, oh, these are all like the tight knit family from the Dark Rising films and TV series.
Yeah.
How and I noticed Andrew directed it. How did he also write it?
Yeah, he wrote it. So he the cool thing about Night Cries is that when I met Andrew in university, I auditioned for a short film called Night Cries, and it was a short version of this premise, and I ended up getting the part, and that's how we met. And then we did a whole period of time with the Dark Rising stuff, and we did that with a company. I ran a specific company for a period of time. And when it was time to leave that company, we're like, you know what, let's start our own company. Let's do our own stuff without needing permission from anybody to choose. And then, so we decided to launch our new company in 2012 with Night Cries because it was coming full circle. We're like, let's do the feature, and he went off and he had been writing that script for a long time. And yeah, it's definitely something that has a ton of layers and it explores sort of so many cool things. But yeah, that's kind of how.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting to see how many kind of twists and turns and all the different layers. Obviously, I don't want to give anything away. Everybody out there, it's on Amazon. Go watch it after this interview, not now.
And if you wait a couple months, it's going to be on Tubi, and it's completely remastered. It's been recolored, it's been re-edited. Yeah, Andrew just put a ton of work into it, and it's going to be re-released. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool. The character in there, the mock cat that runs around. I thought that was just hilarious. So feisty.
And, the little doll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my gosh. I kept thinking, it's like, okay, this is, this is a character that kind of embodies, all the tough things that your character is going through. Mm-hmm. And at least that's how I read it. I don't know if that was intended, but I was just like, yeah, of course, this maquette would be explosive and really direct and pretty intense, and just feisty as shit.
Yeah, she's fun.
Yeah.
No, she's a lot of fun.
Was that one that you were able to voice? I didn't get
No, it was Aislinn Paul. She was a character on Degrassi. She came out to voice the doll. Yeah, and the idea behind the doll is like, because they're living in this limbo world, right?
Right.
And it's souls that were never born, so they don't identify with a body, so they choose to inhabit the body of a doll.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's got a sequel where it's like the Valley of the Dolls, and there's like it explores that world and where Caitlin comes from and cool. How her origin story. So he's got all sorts of like Night Cries can branch or not. Yeah. Night Cries branches off in so many different ways. And he's got so many cool ideas for sequels on that one.
Yeah. I could totally see that, even how it ends, in one world versus the other too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not going to give away anything. Yeah. It's definitely because there's just so much that actually happens. You really got to pay attention and kind of follow those threads, but I also felt it had an amazing amount of heart, to it. So it felt like that not only a labor of love, but it seemed like a child almost, so very personal.
It was, yeah, and it explores because at the time, like he was exploring the idea of an apocalypse. Like, so everybody's doing these apocalypse movies, but he's like, an apocalypse to me would be different than an apocalypse to you. So if you lose something in your life,
right,
then it is a personal apocalypse. And in a way, Joseph's story is his personal apocalypse. And it's also the cycle of life. And there's so many different things that he was contemplating as a writer and as a human, that he weaved into that script. So it's fun. And it was really interesting because my mom actually watched it again recently. And this came out years ago. And she's like, you know what, Bridge? She's like, it's so funny because the first time I watched it, I just saw the surface of it. And she's like, this time around, because my dad recently passed away, and she's been exploring a lot about her spirituality and like, she's been questioning a lot of things. And she's like, now that I'm at this stage in my life, she's like, I caught so much more in this script. And she's like, it was so interesting to see it with the life experiences that I have now versus the life experience I had 10 years ago or 5, however long ago it was, So.
Wow. That's got to be, pretty remarkable to be able to, connect even, like with your mom on art, your films that reflect and kind of, open up that conversation about such personal things like the loss of your father. I mean, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
But at the same time, like, what a great gift to be able to discuss something so deep like that.
Yeah, it's been nice. And like film for me, my parents have always been the most supporting parents in the world. Like they're the reason I'm here really, because they always allowed me to follow my dreams. And they never told me it was silly to like take theater at university. They were always like, go for it. This is what you want to do, man. Do it. You can do it. So it's been a nice journey to have them celebrate each project with us. And even at this stage now, I started bringing my mom on set. I was like, start doing art for set. Like she's a great artist. So I was like, start doing, paintings for the set, come on set, help decorate, do some background work. And so this past year, she's really sort of gotten involved in that, which has been so fun for me, because at the end of the day, as artists, like, we just want to make our parents proud. And like, when you see them on set and being a part of it, it's such a joyful experience, right?
Yeah, no, I totally can relate to that. That sensation, that feeling. I'm out there painting murals. Like, look at me, Ma.
Isn't it funny? It's like, it doesn't matter how old we get. Like, the main thing is to make our parents proud.
Most definitely. Yeah. Oh wow! Look at all these comments coming in. You are quite popular, Brigitte.
Oh, thanks.
Kai or Candy. Yeah,
Candy.
Rocktapussy. Man, and then I think this is all. Yeah, was hoping to see it soon. Burton says hello.
Hey.
Not sure
hi.
what you're laughing at, but
Julie.
Darcy says love to work with you and Andrew someday.
Nice.
And then more hearts from Julie.
Aw, that's so nice. She's a new grandmother. She just had a little I saw that on Facebook.
Oh, nice.
We grew up down the street from each other. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So you're able to keep in touch with friends that you grew up with and people that went to college with.
Well, I think with social media nowadays, the greatest thing in the world is really, like, even if you don't connect one-on-one, it's really cool to see people that you grew up with or that you cared about, and like maybe you don't speak to as much, but you can kind of see their lives. And I don't know, I love how people can connect these days, and even with fans. I mean, going back when Dark Rising started, we always said it's unfortunate that we didn't have access to things like social media to this level at that time, because it would have been really fun to be able to share all those experiences with them, but right. Yeah. And, like I was, mentioning with like Dark Rising, I mean, you're really world building here. Yeah. To me, it's a giant comic book, that's come to life. And off camera, we were remarking on some of the artwork that's come out of it. All kinds of, cool imagery. Obviously, I keep going back to this one because I think it's just, that's awesome. But and then like some of your other, projects, like you were mentioning that you never saw that poster. That one really grabbed me. Yeah, I mean, we produced that film, and it's funny because, like I was telling you, a lot of the posters that come out, we never see, or we find out by accident, because once we produce the film and we give it to a distributor, they go off and do their own marketing campaigns, and often they don't bother to send poster our way, so we just find it on the internet. So man, yeah, I don't know. I think by not sharing it with you guys, they miss an opportunity for not only that connectivity, but also just business wise, just. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think for sure. And it depends on the project. Like things that are closer to our heart, like let's say Rocktapussy. Yeah. I'm sure we'll be involved in all the marketing campaigns and all the decisions on that. But like some of the projects that we've done through the years, it's like once it's in Canada, we tend to have a say in it. But once it goes to the US or wherever, like I think the Shadow Man, I think that's Sony that just took it over. Okay. And so you're just kind of like, whatever they do, man, it's fine by me. Yeah. So that's cool. And you were mentioning too, like, there's some amazing stories behind making a deal with the devil. Obviously that poster grabbed me. I haven't seen it yet, but it's more of a dramatic piece. Yeah, I mean that's something I didn't produce. I just acted in it. But it was a really interesting story. It was a whirlwind. I got a phone call and they're like, "Hey, you got cast in this movie. Can you show up on set on Tuesday?" I'm like, "Sure." I showed up and literally I was in and out, I want to say within an hour. They're like, "Here's your scene. Let's shoot." And you just get one take. You hope for the best. And this guy, Frank D'Angelo, he's brilliant. I mean, he shoots movies in 3 days. I don't know him personally. I met him on set, obviously. But the stories I've heard of him have been pretty pretty insane. Like we shoot our movies in, 14 days is short for us.
Right.
Rocktapussy is like probably 60 days or something crazy like that. Most of them are a mix between somewhere in between that, but 3 days is just insane. Like I don't know how he did that.
That's an intense. I mean,
it's fun though.
Something like that, everything has to line up just so exact.
Yeah, well, he brings in these really great names, and they shoot like they don't go to bed, so it's a 24-hour rotation, literally, that they just keep going. And yeah, it's his thing. It's pretty impressive.
That's amazing. Something like that. Would you imagine that there's a lot of obviously planning, but like rehearsal?
I think it's just you show up, you do your thing. He casts people that can, hopefully do it in one take, and you just hope for the best. Like I don't think anybody gets a second take on his shows.
Wow. That's wild. That's definitely an innovative process unto itself, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd find that pretty nerve-wracking. You mentioned you like shooting your films, 14 days versus like 60 days. I'd imagine with like Rocktapussy, was it just a lot of logistics that in order to pull that one off in terms of?
I think a lot of it has to do with the goal and the budget and what's needed. Let's say when we do our Hallmark type movies, well, you really just need 14 days. It's two people talking in a beautiful location and shot reverse shot, like a couple cool setups, and that's pretty much it. With Rocktapussy, it's really art. Like every single shot in that movie is a still, like it's a painting, and that's what Andrew wanted. He's like, if I only shoot half a page in one day, he's like, that's the time I want, because he wanted to do some really, really cool stuff for the fans. And so that was the goal going into it. We're like, you know what? We're going to jump in, and whatever it takes, we are going to take the time that we want. We will never rush a day. And that was the goal. Everything else, we just kind of, and we made it happen. Like we didn't necessarily know how we were going to finish shooting the movie, because we sort of jumped in with half of the financing in place, and we're like, we'll figure it out. It's fine. And it took us, I think, 1.5 years to shoot that movie. But we did it in between shooting other, like we would shoot a cute little Christmas movie, like Mistletoe Magic, and then we would go back to Rocktapussy. And then we'd go shoot another Christmas movie, and then we'd go back to Rocktapussy. So it was this really weird, fun year, right? Because you're just like, you have puppies and Santa, and then you have like skeletons and zombies and blood and guts, and you're just like, oh, cool.
Oh my God, that's what a great way, what a great way to just exist, going from like wholesome, sweet Christmas cookies to gore, blood, and gross.
For sure. And it's also like even the different vibes, like because we love doing the Christmas movies because you can't be unhappy with puppies and Santa on set. It's every day's Christmas. It's fantastic, right? And it's also, there's not a lot of stress on the Christmas movies. We've been making movies for so long now that like for us to jump into production and shoot one of these movies is fairly easy, right? But with Rocktapussy, everything's challenging, because you're like, ooh, okay. You're just like, okay, so you have these chains, and I want you to like somehow haul your body up, and then you're going to spin, and you're going to kick, and it's going to like throw me down the stairs, and it's going to be amazing. And I'm like, oh my God. And so the logistics of like, how the hell are we going to do this, right? And you have stunt guys trying to figure it out, and somebody building this rotating seat that anyways. And so everything is challenging because nothing on that film was normal. Like everything was something cool, right? So it was two very different, like one was a puzzle and one was like, oh, good. Puppies and Santa, let's do this. This is awesome.
Nice little break from the other stuff, right?
100%.
I mean, you're doing a lot of your own stunts too.
Yeah. I pretty much, I think there was only one project where we had brought on a stunt double for a few of the things, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I just want to do it. So I do all of my own stunts for most of the projects. And the funny thing is, I'm like, I've done everything from, I've battled giant octopuses and sandworms and zombies, and I've twirled knives and all this stuff. And the hardest stunt that I have ever had to do was literally dancing. So in Rocktapussy, it starts with like a dancing sequence where I'm undercover doing a strip scene. And I'm like, I trained for that for like a good year just to try to master that pole. It was so hard. I was bruised from like head to toe. And I'm like, man, of all the stunts I have ever done, I'm like, dancing is literally the hardest. So props to anybody that knows how to pole dance, because that stuff is hard.
Wow. That's amazing. I've never heard that before. I've got friends that pole dance and they're amazing. I can't figure out how do they defy physics.
Oh my God, try it. Next time you see them, go to their pole, give it a shot, try to give it a whirl, and you'll see it's so hard. You need like super strength in your upper body. You need to like, I don't know, like it's a lot of leg strength too, because like you're manipulating your body with just like you're defying gravity. It's crazy, but it was really fun. It was worth every bruise.
Nice. That's so cool. Julie just got back to us. She said she was laughing at your babysitting.
Yeah. I love babysitting those kids. It's fun.
And then Alonzo just chimed in. Any plans to release Summervale on DVD or Blu-ray? Super hyped about Rocktapussy.
Oh, cool. You know what? The whole Dark Rising thing, we've been in talks with trying to re-release those projects for a really long time. We did those with a separate company. I was young and sort of signed away all the rights to those projects. And so we would love to come to an understanding where we can re-release those, but we're working on it. So hopefully it would make its way back to Blu-ray or DVD.
Nice. Love to see that. As I meant, well, is there any plans to do any more Dark Rising films actually?
Again, like that's a long story, because I worked with a company for several years, and when I left, he kept all of the projects we developed there. So I actually don't have the rights to Medium Raw or Dark Rising at this point in time. One of my main goals I would love to be able to re-release those and to make another one, but that's something that we would have to figure out.
Nice. As I mentioned, it's big world, very very comic book like. I mean, you're essentially playing an action figure in it. Man, hopefully, you'll be able to address that, pretty soon. But at the same time, you got this other world in Night Cries, that I could see, an endless array of stories coming from that.
Yeah. No, we love to create worlds instead of just one-offs. Like when Andrew goes into production with one of these projects, he's always got it figured out. Like even Rocktapussy, I mean, he's got Rocktapussy 2 and Rocktapussy 3 already figured out.
Nice. So. Nice. Julie can't wait to see
Julie, thank you.
Yeah. Matt just chimed in here. It's like very enjoyable interview, very informative for budding filmmakers. So thank you. Matt says you are a quality talent.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah. It's got to be pretty insane. Now, as a fan too, growing up, like, was there any films or horror movies or anything that really stood out to you or really, helped push you?
Well, I mean, as a kid, I was the kid where, again, like we grew up in Sudbury, Ontario. And so for fun, I would go to my friend's house, and every single weekend we would go to Popcorn Video, which was the video place to get your VHS rental. Nice. And we would pick the scariest movie we could find. And I'm talking like between the ages of 7 and 10, because I left Sudbury when I was 10. So I was really young when I was doing this. And I remember like some of the most memorable ones are Poltergeist, that terrified me.
Yes.
And to this day, I mean, I watched that movie and literally in my bedroom, there was this giant tree outside of my window. So I became terrified of the tree because, as you know, the tree eats the child. So I would sleep between my bed and the wall because I figured if the tree would look in, it wouldn't see me if I was tucked up against the wall. So that's that. So that left a really big impression. And then things like we would rent like the craziest movies. I remember Sleepaway Camp.
Yes. Oh,
I know. I was probably 8 or 9, and we were being babysat by my friend Nat Landry at the time. She like I would always go to her house, and her babysitter let us watch this movie. And at the end, do you remember the big reveal at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I think everybody does. That's infamous.
Yeah, well, I never really got to see it because all I remember is like the beginning of the big end reveal and the babysitter just jumping on us being like, close your eyes. And now like I know what happens, but I never actually saw the big reveal. But like that movie was a huge, I was like, oh my God, that's pretty intense. And then we watched like a Slumber Party Massacre. I think that's the one with the guitar and like Dolls. Like there were so many. Oh, Basket Case. Do you remember Basket Case?
I remember that. I love that movie.
Oh, it was so creepy. It was so great. It was like he carried his twin in like in a basket and he would go murder people. I was a huge fan of horror films growing up, and I mean now I find it really hard to watch horror films because back then I wasn't really scared of those things, but nowadays I'm like, oh man, I think this stuff exists. Like I'm pretty sure spirits and like all of this crazy stuff actually exists. So it's much more terrifying as an adult than it is as a kid, I think.
Yeah. Well, in the real world, there's so many more real things to be, terrified of.
Yeah.
Those are the horror movies I have a hard time watching is the stuff that, that could actually happen.
Oh my God. So I've been on this Netflix kick of true crime. And so I've watched like Night Stalker and like The Ripper, all of those. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is terrifying stuff. Like this shit happens, you know? So now I'm I don't know. I've been having a hard time sleeping at night since I started watching those true crime things.
Yeah. My girlfriend, she really enjoys watching those, and then she'll tell me about them, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this. This sounds like the closest I think I've gotten recently was the David Fincher series, Mindhunters on.
That's so good.
Yeah, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. It gave me nightmares, and then a lot of the listeners have heard this before, but like when Hereditary came out, I watched that, and I thought that was the dumbest movie.
I haven't seen it.
And then that night I couldn't get to sleep. I was having nightmares. I'm like, oh, there's something here. If it's having this type of effect on me. So I watched it again. It's like, oh, I get it. The rules don't apply to this. The stuff that doesn't make sense. It doesn't work for this film. And I was just like, this is absolutely brilliant. Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they can just get into your head, and then you're just like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, most definitely. And the other thing too is like what kind of audience you keep when you watch a film. Obviously this isn't horror, but when I first saw the first season of the Mandalorian, I was like, okay, it's cute, and it is what it is. And then I watched it with my girlfriend, and she was really getting into it, and so therefore so was I. So
nice.
Yeah, apparently it's very symbiotic, I suppose. It's like, okay, now I just need to watch things with her, and then I'll really get into it, and I'll have a good time. So
what do you think of that last episode of The Mandalorian?
I think I pooped myself, and it was total fangasm, and I'm like, yep, this totally just blows away. I think the last 3 Star Wars movies. I know,
and it's so exciting because it's like it didn't leak, like we didn't expect it.
Right.
I was watching it with Andrew, and it's like, can it be? Oh my God, no! We're watching it, we're like, oh my God! It was so good. So
yeah,
good.
with the online, fan, culture that we have, it's so it's so informative, but also at the same time very invasive. So they're always looking for what's leaking,
Yeah.
and yeah. So the hats off to Disney, I guess, for not spilling the beans too early.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm just hoping, I'm a huge geek, in this culture. So like the Marvel movies, I'm, totally looking forward to anything they throw up on online. So the WandaVision, and they've got the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. I'm like, please have those levels of surprises, out
Yeah.
there for us. But it's absolutely so much fun. Yeah, me growing up too, like my go-to movie was always Monster Squad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I love the idea of like those children horror movies, that have a little bit of teeth to them, a little bit of edge.
Yeah.
I think that stuff is absolutely brilliant. And then of course American Werewolf in London, because I think that's why I like the Dark Rising films so much is I love that humor, in that world of that can be intense and stuff, and it brings such levity and yeah, it also it not only does it soften the blow, but also puts you at ease, unexpected to what just around the corner. I love that.
For sure. Yeah. And they have a little bit of an 80s vibe too. Like there's something about like those 80s movies that have heart, and like they're just such great adventures, and yeah, they're not as hard as some of the movies these days.
Right. I've always had a hard time getting into like the torture porn films. So like the Saw movies, I just I think the closest I got into was maybe the Hostel films to a point, and then what was coming out of Japan, because I thought that was inventive, but also there's that abstraction too, because it's a different culture, it's different language, it's so I always thought that was interesting. The films by Takashi Miike, that's another guy who works way too much, turning out like 5 films a year. God,
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, but after COVID, and I'm sure Canada's on a much better path than the U.S. We were kind of a dumpster fire in a lot of areas, but after this, obviously you're looking forward to getting back to being with people in theaters and sharing Rocktapussy. What else are you looking forward to?
I mean, just in general, shooting is the number one that we're looking forward to. We've got a couple Christmas projects that we're looking to start shooting soon. And then outside of that, just friends. Yeah. Like I keep joking, I'm like, I go out there and I'm gonna lick people's faces. Strangers, don't care. I don't care. I just want to like hug random people and just like lick their faces. Like I really miss my friends. I miss, like, we've been bubbled with my family, which has been great. And with Andrew's family as well. So it's like we do have that interaction. And when we shoot, we bubble with our cast and crew, which has been great. But like just that ability to, to go have a coffee with someone or go out to grab a drink with a friend. I mean, I have friends that I haven't seen. Coffee. Yeah, exactly. Or like even our Zoom meetings. I mean, with my company, my partners, they're not here. Like we have our Zoom meetings, and it's just not the same as collaborating in person, where you're sitting there and you got ideas and you're just like going back and forth. But we're all living in our own little worlds now. And I'm like, I live in my pajamas, like way too much. So just getting dressed up and going out would be so great.
Yeah, you don't know if Bill on the other side, has pants on. That can be
no idea. And that's kind of a fun game, right? Like I don't know if you're wearing pants right now. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, yeah, I am. So
oh, that's good. Okay.
So I'm safe.
I am too, for the record. I almost had like I I almost wore my pajama bottoms, and I was like, just in case I get up.
Oh yeah. No, that's awesome.
So I'm wearing a Rocktapussy t-shirt. So.
Oh yeah. I saw that logo online. That is awesome. With that film, you're planning on hopefully doing some more installments on that. I mean, that's a whole nother world right there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We've got Shout Factory in the U.S. that's gonna be distributing it. Yeah, they're great. Awesome. I love those guys.
They are.
Yeah, and we have Black Fawn in Canada that's gonna be on board for that. So it's gonna be a good run.
Yeah, hopefully, at some point we can have you and Andrew come out and hopefully do a screening of Rocktapussy or something. Man, that'd be a lot of fun. Just before we sign off, you just got another slew of comments that came in. As Azazel says, "What's picking?" So I guess we got a lot of fantastic killer clowns on this page, and then OJ says, "Love your work."
Love you, Joey.
And then wonderful interview. A lot of great stories. Yeah, you have all kinds of fun stories. I love it.
That's my mom from my dad's account. That's so cute. That's my dad. He's the best. My parents they're the best. I got lucky.
That's wonderful. And it's so great to have parents that support, what you do, or what you're setting out to do and everything.
It's everything. Honestly, it really is. It's like great conversation. Thanks, Kevin. So Kelly Brennan, he is the one that built the set with Andrew. So up north, when you watch Rocktapussy, it's Kelly and Andrew that built that entire set. They built an underground mine that's got like lava pits and sacrificial chambers, and it's really impressive.
That's awesome! Wow! I can't wait.
Okay.
Kevin's into your cool merch too.
We have the merch, and it's actually already available. I'll post the link, but we actually do have a store with all this merch available. So
yes, send me that link, and I'll repost it in the comment section. And then let's see here, and of course, I did this sketch of you a while ago. So that was fun. I think I did this when COVID was just starting out. So.
It's a great sketch.
Thanks. But Brigitte, thank you so much for being so generous with your time. It's been just such a wonderful pleasure, being able to talk to you and learn about all the cool things that you and Andrew do.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This has been really fun.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and to everybody out there too, thanks for tuning in. Brigitte, if you could just, stick around for a few more minutes, and, to my producers, Stefan and Amanda, thanks so much for all your help, and my sponsors at Alien Donut Films, Angela and Bill, thanks guys. And, to everybody out there, be good, be kind, help each other out during these hard times. And always remember, we love you. Take care. Have a good night.
Good night.